You know, Winter Storm Fern may have trapped us from not doing the usual hype video outside, but I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make up for it here and some, because we are now live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. And this man is always the headline when it comes to all of it. And boy, does he have a lot to say here tonight. Some people may be trapped. They may be trapped under that winter storm, but this man, you can't stop him, because if you just saw what we saw here at the historic YBW first full headline show of the year, well, he was the headline. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about how he's undefeated when he's a champion against Monstruck, but what happened with this guy who had the Razor instinct, that this guy here, the headline, had, well, used his own Razor instinct to have gotten rid of for good? But apparently, like this 2026 year, we just can't get rid of Old Man Winter, and we can't get rid of that Dominic, because don't doubt Dominic seems to be back in the picture. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about also the elephant in the room, that for this man here right now, and the irony, ladies and gentlemen, this is his 8th year as a backyard wrestler, and he is now an 8-time world champion. But this is supposed to be, for what it seems, the last year as an active backyard wrestler. We talked about it very briefly last night, but tonight we hear from this man here, and he'll tell us more about it here and some. You'll get your comments, and I'm sure I'll give this man here something, as we always do. But everybody, you now have got it. It's now time to start this show off here in style on Sportzwire Radio, the #1 global radio station where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, #1 global sports show, the man that sits on the throne as the greatest trailblazer, the reigning, defending YBW heavyweight champion, and the now 8-time world heavyweight champion, the man that has traveled to more companies than anybody else in backyard, underground, and maybe even in pro wrestling history. His name is, simply put, the headline. And please, the champ is here, my friend. How are we doing?
Annoyed with this weather, for one thing.
Yeah.
Highly annoyed. I
Yeah.
shoveled my driveway and all that at least 5 times, only for it to just grow back tenfold.
I know the
5
feeling.
minutes
Listen,
later.
in New York City, it's we have the sidewalk, and then they push it back, and then you got to go back out again. And yeah, this is I said this a couple of times over the last week. This is for the first time. I have been a New York City resident, tired and true, Brooklyn all my life, Staten Island, and it's the first time I've said to myself, you know what? When people said to me, when all my friends, everybody else left and moved away, they moved to Florida, South Carolina, Arizona, all these places, Texas, and I was like, no, I'm a New Yorker, tired and true. For the first time, I gotta be honest, the first time, I'm now thinking maybe it's time to revisit that. But I digress. I digress. You're in Pennsylvania, so you have it even worse than I do, but we'll leave that at that for another time. It is always good to see you here. Winter Storm Fern cannot stop you in the YBW network, and let's talk about it. But once again, Aaron Blaze, the headline for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and YBW have certainly helped build, Sportswire Radio. Talk to me about how it feels to have successfully, in your first title defense as champion here in YBW since June 2021, to have retained against Monstruck.
It's crazy, and I never really put that stat together that you just came up with. That almost every time I've been a champion, I've fought him for a championship and have retained. It's pretty crazy to think that over, but yeah, this was truly a test to see if because getting this title back was one thing. Defending it was a whole other ball game, and as I said on Carnage, which recently just came back, the devil met his god tonight. I put away Satan's favorite son, and you are looking at the one and only true headline when it comes to this World Heavyweight Championship. So it feels great. It was fun to share one last match with one of my biggest rivals. The guy had me spewing up black blood somehow 2 years ago.
Yes. Yep.
Um, but yeah, the stories I've always told with Monstruck have always been just astronomical, and tonight was no different.
Does that put it into perspective that this is the last time you're going to face Monstruck as the YBW champion? This is it. This is the last time. And we're going to talk about that later. This is the last year that you are going to be an active backyard wrestler. I know YBW is going to be some changes. You spoke about that a few weeks ago. But, I mean, does that put it into perspective that this is it? This is the last time you and Monstruck have competed with that championship?
Yeah, it's crazy because, a high majority of my career in parallel to his has been tied around not just this World Heavyweight Championship, but a championship period. And I think it just goes to show that, this newer generation, if you will, of people from my company can really rise and become something if they have somehow managed to always be in the title picture, and they're always willing to fight for that top spot and go the extra mile and have great runs of their own. And whether they succeed or fail in ending some of mine, it still shows that you know the work you put in, it goes a long way in the end. And I think whatever Monstruck decides to do moving forward, he's going to excel in that, and he's going to do great. um and I can hope for the best for him. And this last match, it brought out a lot of old things, like the
Yep.
song and
Yeah, you coming out
current
to your old
references.
music and the way you ended the match. I mean, the back and forth that you and him had, the devil. I mean, there was a lot here. We're going to show that match shortly. And if you're out there, please do
Yeah,
me a favor. If you're
landed on
here
my
for the
neck.
first time, hit the sub button for YBW. They're almost there to 2,000 subscribers. So they're ever so closely inching to that number. We're also going to talk about tomorrow's show, Monday Night Carnage. You got to go out there, especially with Winter Storm Fern. You got nowhere to go, and the place you need to be is certainly to watch the fallout from it here on the YBW YouTube channel. I want to say hello to my friend Maria out there, the lovely Maria. Thank you for being here. Thank you everybody else here in the chat. We'll say hello here to your comments. The other stat was that this was your first title defense in 4.5 years. I know you were here last month. You were formerly here last month. We talked about how important it was for you to finally have been a world champion after that 4-year plus layoff. We saw when you came out, you won the title at that Aaron Blaze chant. That was kind of funny. But now 4.5 years, this was the first time that you defended that championship. I mean, you got to talk to me about just that stat and just what that means to you.
It means a lot. It really has gone to show that time definitely changes a lot of things, because I feel like even though it was like our last match and we kind of went balls to the walls, I feel like me in 2021 would have done a bit better than what I did tonight. And some of it was out of fear, some of it was timing. I mean, I threw some of my best shots at the guy, and he, sat up. Um, I recall literally falling back off the trampoline because I'm scared shitless. But no, it just feels like, obviously it doesn't look like I've lost a step.
No,
You know,
far from it. I mean,
Far from it, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like things would have been different if this was 4 years ago. However, it's good to see that even though a lot has changed between now and then, I can still keep up. And it's not like I haven't won other championships in the meantime. But
Absolutely.
this is the first time I've been in a real main event scene in a while. Um, Especially with the knee injury, that was another thing that I was
Yes.
very, very worried about is could I still keep up with the knee? And, you know, shock and awe, I've had some better matches in some cases with the bad knee. And I don't know if it's maybe the stress of worrying about if I can't keep up or just having that extra oomph to fire me up. But either way, I'm glad that I'm still getting back to those steps to being me.
Oh,
That's what I care
absolutely. And
about the
listen, you
most.
you with even a knee injury is still better than a lot of other people out there. So I mean, let's just put that into perspective. I know you dealt with some injuries last year. You came on here and talked about some that we know you famously relinquished the hardcore championship, and that scenario, other things maybe didn't go the way you had hoped, but nevertheless, you with one good knee is still better than a lot of other people, myself included, with two knees. So obviously, we'll get to that footage.
Yeah.
And obviously, I do want to say hello to somebody else here, my very good friend, Mr. Rick Del Santo. And I got to give Rick a little plug because Rick is the man behind the Pro Wrestling Wire, and they've had a slew of
What's
other
up?
people out there that have been interviewed in the pro wrestling world, and he's been very kind enough to be here. So I want to give Rick a nice little plug because Rick gave me like a 5 minute, like almost like eulogy of
That's
words on his
awesome.
podcast. Yeah. So now I got to give him the favor back. So if you're out there, go give him a sub, and maybe we'll see Aaron Blaze next on the Pro Wrestling Wire and some of the other people here in the chat. So please go out there and hit the sub button for Rick, and he does a great job, and he's a great man in the Connecticut wrestling scene. But let's talk about your match. Let's get into it because I think a lot of people are waiting for it, and I want to show it because we're going to talk about a man that I alluded to that is back. And oh boy, just when you thought you were done with him, in the famous words of the great Lee Corso, not so fast. Let's get into it here right now. I've got the footage right in front of me, and let's pull it up now. And there it is. We've got the entrances right where we are, and there is the Devil's Son. You alluded to the devil, and yes, the devil is here. We are in the Devil's Playground with Monstruck himself.
Yeah, I gotta love pre-tape life too. Yeah, going into this match, I could already tell it was going to be. I don't know. I could tell that it wasn't going to be the best, but it wasn't about that. This
Mm-hmm.
whole thing started when he confronted me, choke slammed me, and I didn't hear from him for weeks. And then I came face to face with my demons per se, and all I kept reminiscing back to was Heat Wave number 2, I think, of what if I won this match? What if I just, I don't know, dug down a little bit deeper? What if I, did this and did that? This is the same guy that put a screwdriver to my head and slammed me on Legos and whipped me with a leather belt and did all these things.
Yeah.
And I also had to, cock my head sideways and realize that, well, he's not the same guy he was either. He used to be dominant, but ever since he lost to Magnum Carter, he hasn't been the same. So it kind of put us at a even stance if you really think about it. And I just knew that that was enough ammunition I needed to fire to make sure that I was the last man standing to
And
keep
you got to talk about the
this
retro
championship.
music coming out to that. I mean, that's a big deal there. What was with it, and you coming out to your old music? I mean, talk to me about that.
So the first time, well, not the first time, but the second time I came to face Monstruck, it was ironically still for the hardcore championship, like our first match was. And I remember, and this is a cardinal sin as a backyard wrestler. You don't go out wearing pro wrestling gear and wrestling in the backyard and yada yada yada. Um, but no, I created a
Yeah.
highlight with kneeing him in the face in those same wrestling tights, and I came out to "Searching for Glory" by The Word Alive, and that's the current band I use for my current theme song, "Burning Your World Down."
Yep.
ironic. Um, but I kind of just wanted to do that little callback, and then there was another song through the same band that was put in as an insert because of some audio technical issues. So I figured kill two birds with one stone because, as I've said before, this is it. You know, like I'm replaying not just the biggest hits in the sense of rivalries, I'm replaying the biggest hits in the 9 trillion songs I've had as an entrance theme because I'm never
Yeah.
gonna be able to come out to them again. So it was also about that, giving people, you know, a sense of nostalgia. If the hype package didn't prove that enough, so it's all about just giving these people something to remember me by, you know, through the good, the bad, the indifferent, and just giving these people what I know I can give them, and that's something that's entertaining.
Oh, they're gonna definitely remember you. Don't you worry about that. I think you'll be remembered. But obviously, interesting things you said, and I'll come back to them time permitting. But Montrose got off to a strong start against you here right now. I mean, he's come out here firing.
Yeah, and this match also kind of sucked because, like, again, timing and just doing things in the dark. And I think that also, you know, empowered Satan's favorite son. I think the devil was casting a sacred spell to freaking, you know, enhance his strength. But yeah, he's kind of kicking my ass right now, literally and metaphorically. And you know, as this match is transpiring, I'm just thinking back to the first time we shared moments where he hit me with light tubes. I hate that that happens. The glitching. God damn it. Anyhow, anyhow, yeah, he hit me across the back with light tubes. I remember him putting me through a table. I remember just a lot of crazy stuff that we've done over the years. And like I was like fighting for my life, but at the same time I was kind of also upset like wow, this is the last time I'm going to be able to tell a story with this character here. You know, cuz this kind of like defined me in a way, you know.
Well,
Oh my
right
god,
now
that
you're being
sucked.
defined right now. I mean, but you said something else
Ugh.
interesting, as you always do when you're here, pretty much every month at this point, and you were talking about the weather and the conditions, and obviously I see it darker, and that's always a different thing. I always think about when my own growing up, and we would play sports, and then all of a sudden, when it would get to this time of the year, maybe a little bit before that, it would get darker earlier. You just feel differently out there. So, talk to me about the element of wrestling in this environment where it's darker earlier and the weather plays more of a factor.
So, for those of you who don't like watch YBW on a day to day, we wrestle in almost like any kind of weather conditions. Like we've wrestled in the snow, we've wrestled in the rain,
The
scorching
heat.
hot weather. You know, like we give people a hard hitting show as much as we can, no matter what, within the safest weather conditions, and that's always been a theme that was really enforced, ironically, in 2021. Again, go figure. But me personally, it doesn't even really sit in until after it's over how like exhausted we are with doing this. Because I'm someone that's like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's get this done, let's get this done, blah 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 blah. Um, but yeah, it's obviously I prefer to wrestle in like brighter conditions,
We
obviously,
all
but
prefer 65 and sunny. Yeah, we all prefer
oh
65 and
yeah,
sunny, but we're East Coast guys. We're not getting that
oh
much.
yeah. But you know, when you're in, but when it's closer to the end of the day and you still have X amount of things to do, it's like, okay, well, this puts like a bigger chip on your shoulder of like, okay, let's buckle down and let's get this done, even though it's not going to be, you know, 100% presentable in that instance. We're still going to give it 110%. So, weather and nighttime, it kind of is what it is to a certain degree, but you can't let that stop you if you really love this. So I
No,
tolerate it.
well, you are definitely tolerating it. You are fighting, and we are here with the YBW World Heavyweight Champion himself, the headline Aaron Blaze, the eight-time Trailblazer, the man that has traveled to more companies, maybe even more than any wrestler in history. I mean, you think about the amount of companies the man has been to, and he is back with us here once again, talking about the fallout from this past evening's YBW New Year's Revolution show. And if you're out there, please hit the sub button for YBW and also follow them on Instagram, TikTok. We will get to your comments after this match here. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. Thank you so much to everybody who is out here with us, and glad you are safe and sound, and including my friend Maria. But nevertheless, you've come back into the match, and you have now done what you do best, and we're getting ready to maybe see you take control a little bit here.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just firing off to get this guy down, because he, as you saw, he just took a burnout, and then he sat right back up, and then he grabbed me by the throat. Not it's not what I would prefer, but anyway. Yeah, I'm fighting for my life here, like, because this championship, it's a big part of my life, but when it comes to like YBW, it is my life, and especially the journey I took to get back to it. And I couldn't accept. Oh, yep, there's me, scared shitless.
Well, I mean, because we know about the devil, we know about other things, and it almost kind of got into you, and you're running away from it. I mean, this is obviously something you hinted at. We've seen this play out of Monday Night Carnages, and now it's almost like literally it's right before your own very eyes.
Yeah, there I was running away, but I wasn't gonna fully just get the match purposely disqualified or anything like that. I had to create some separation to just think. Like, I needed a moment to just stop and put two and two together and try and think of a way to get this win for whatever reason. It's just, I don't know, like, I felt like I was dying. Like, this dude's
You went
just
through a lot in
nuts.
this match. I mean, we saw the spot earlier where you went out on the outside and you would choke slam. We saw the back and forth, and the quick start by Monstruck. So there's no question that you were definitely going through a lot. This is not a match where you're gonna have an easy here by a long shot.
No, and I kind of had a feeling when the approach he took back on Monday when he first confronted me was like, hey, I'm not even going to give you room to breathe or think. I'm just going to choke slam you. I'm going to get in your head. I'm going to mess you up. And, you know, nothing truer has been showcased without words. This guy does not talk, but he certainly spoke a lot during this entire thing. And
Oh, well, you're about to do something you haven't done in a while, ladies and gentlemen. It's buckle
dish
up.
out a dose of head trauma. I'm trying, but then I don't know what happened here. I think like he caught me with an elbow real quick and my knee buckled, and then all of a
Right.
sudden I'm it's crazy because I don't remember this part.
You don't, really.
I don't remember this part.
Now, when you were watching it with us in the chat earlier on, I'm sure that brought flashbacks.
A little bit. I don't even. It's great. Wait. Hold on.
Oh! Did you see that, ladies and gentlemen? Did you see what I just saw there? You haven't done that in who knows how long. It's almost like something got into you there. KITD. Wait, 1, 2, 3, and still YBW World Heavyweight Champion, the 8-time Trailblazer, the headline, Aaron Blaze.
That's not how I remember winning. That's not what I thought I did.
Well, I mean, that's what we just, unless maybe it's something different.
Okay. I remember everything. I actually don't remember. Okay, never mind. Point being.
Okay, well, I mean, well,
yeah,
well,
sorry,
I mean,
sorry.
that's certainly
I'm a bit.
interesting. Hope you have a concussion or
sorry.
something. I mean, I know something got into you.
Yeah.
Something got into you. I understand, but you have no time to celebrate, because you may have found a way to retain your championship, but there ain't going to be much of a celebration because That Razor Instinct is here for the first time since he lost his YPW championship, which he held for nearly a year and a half. It's Dominic, and he's behind. Turn around, turn around, turn around. Wait for it, and there he is. It's Dominic. It's Dominic, the former YPW champion, a man that had one of the greatest runs of any BYW Underground champion in this generation, and he is back. Spear, right into that cement where the mat is. Oh my God! That you may not even remember this, but guess what? You're gonna have to remember it now because Dominic is back, and it seems like once again we can't doubt Dominic because Dominic has possession of a championship that he held maybe longer than any backyard and underground wrestling champion we've seen in this generation, and he is just getting on you for good measure. And boy, you may have missed Dominic this last month, but Dominic is making you remember why you didn't doubt him and why he was the YBW champion for virtually the entire 2025 calendar year and the last quarter of the 2024 calendar year. And he is back when you thought you'd gotten rid of him. Just like cockroaches, they come back, and Dominic is back. And boy, there's some carnage here to talk about, and I don't think it's going to be unlawful. But Aaron Blaze, you might have not remembered this, but now you're going to have to remember it and talk about it.
It's crazy you said cockroaches because that's exactly what the motherfucker looks like. Yeah, so let's start there. My God. No, unfortunately, I do remember that the squirrel came out of Ice Age and beat me up, and he couldn't even come back and return right. Go figure. We'll add that to the list of things he can't do right. Dominic. Do we really have to talk about him?
I mean, we
Do
don't.
we really?
I mean, we could spend a few minutes and then get to the chat because I know you're a busy man. I know you want to talk about the other thing that everybody's very curious on, but I mean, he's back. I mean, there is no denying that Dominic wants what he held for, like I said, basically nearly a year and a half. And I mean, just what a way to come back. I mean, we heard nothing of Dominic. He had not even been brought up in here on Sportswire. Just I heard nothing about him anywhere. And yet the way he came back, I mean, he's obviously out for that.
You know, it's so funny because it's like Dominic just simply can't get it through his head the simple fact that he's not world heavyweight champion anymore. And maybe if he does come to terms with that, he cannot accept the fact that he doesn't deserve to be the world heavyweight champion. And even if he can come to terms with that, he can't accept the fact that he can't beat me legitimately. Because we all saw it, it's documented. Revelation 6 was 1-on-1, and yours truly got the job done. 1, 2, 3, 8-time Trailblazer. Boom. You know, when I look at Dominic, and I look at the reign he had with this championship, and he got it all busted up, dirty, filthy, falling apart. You know, I look at his reign of dominance, and I don't look at it as dominance, Tom. I look at it as a reign of convenience. I look at it as a reign of convenience because isn't it very convenient that he's been bailed out more than once?
Well,
Isn't
something we
it
talked about with you many
convenient
times
that
throughout the year. Yep. Magnum Carter had spoke about it when he had been here throughout the last several months. I mean, there's no question that there has always been this hanging around Dominic's run as champion that he won, but it was usually because of, well, maybe others.
not only that, but it's just he wants the entire world, but he doesn't want to put in the work. And that's the difference between me and him. Congratulations. You took this championship to one other place and you defended it. You did the bare minimum. The bare minimum in 490 however many days. The difference is when I was world champion, when ATK was world champion, and when other people were world champion, we didn't hide behind anybody. Well, ATK's debatable. We defended it in multiple companies. This championship has been mentioned and named as much as it can be and should be. And Dominic didn't promote. Dominic barely showed up on this platform. He barely did anything.
Well,
Couldn't even wear his apparel.
his defense was always that he doesn't have to say nothing because he's the incumbent. That was the line.
No,
He
his
said that here.
defense. No, Dom. Yeah, Dom. Sorry, Tom. His defense is he's lazy.
Well, I mean,
He's
look,
lazy. Beating up someone who wrestled for almost 20 minutes to make a statement isn't hard. Congratulations. I did the same thing to him 2 years ago. But the difference is, Dom, when I followed through, I did it on my own. You can't do that. You can't. And now he wants to come back and he wants to take this World Heavyweight Championship that he never deserved in the first place. And he only got it because I didn't want it. I didn't want it back then, but I want it now. But it's clear to me that Dom doesn't want a wrestling match. It's clear to me he doesn't want a wrestling match if all he's going to do is sneak up, choke people out, beat
did that,
people
and by
up
the way, did
because
that
he's
to you
scared.
before your match? You know, when you became that number one contender, you remember what happened after that? He did the same thing. I mean, that's been the playbook of Dom, and he's just continued to go back to that, and he's going to hope that that'll help him regain that championship that he held for so long.
Which is why I don't take him seriously, and I almost sound like a broken record repeating myself because it looks to me like Dom doesn't want to wrestle, and Dom does not want to take part in a match. He wants to fight. All right. He wants to fight. So tomorrow night, I'll be on Carnage. I want to fight. So, Dominic, I want you to show up tomorrow on Monday Night Carnage. You bring yourself, if you're a real man, and let's just fight. Because I want to beat the fuck out of you. I am so sick of you and your bullshit. I am so sick of you thinking that you're owed this championship. The only thing you're owed is an ass beating. And I'll gladly give you the one that your daddy never gave you growing up. So, show up on my show tomorrow night, and I'll make sure it's your last night in my company.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen.
Problem. Let's solve it. Tomorrow night on Carnage.
I think you just got a reason why you need to be there tomorrow night for YBW's Monday Night Carnage. This is the post show from New Year's Revolution, and you're going to see it. Aaron Blaze will be there, and he's ordering Dominic to be there to show up, and it's not just going to be a face-to-face. It's not just going to be a handshake. That this match is going to take place next month. It's going to be a fight because Aaron Blaze is sick and tired of Dominic jumping him from behind, and he's got a valid point, and we'll see if it comes to a head here tomorrow night and a prelude of what's in store here next month. That's another reason why you need to hit that sub button for YBW. YBW 2018. Follow YBW on Instagram, YBW Backyard. Also follow YBW on Facebook, TikTok, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about here, and Aaron Blaze is just getting started. So let's get to the chat because we're fired up, and he's creating headlines like there's no other. So Marie here, the lovely Marie is here first. Thank you very much. We love seeing her, and thank you for being here once again. Zilla's here second. Thank you, Zilla, for being here for the kind words, as always.
Zilla.
And yes. Camo Cam is here from the IMF show. It took place yesterday. Thank you, Camo Cam, for being here. Johnny Veloci's got a few questions for you. We'll get to that. Thank you. I have Alexa here. Maybe you know somebody there. I'd like to say hello.
I do.
Thank you. There you go. All right. That's good. Good. Make sure you follow YBW. And speaking of people that I've seen throughout different places, Robert Pearson. You know that guy, right? You heard of Robert Pearson?
Yes, I know.
Bone Shaker, yes. Now, you have another guy that obviously has been here in the past and wants to say that you stink, and that's Jackson Sabre. Man, I know from DBW and EBW.
Yeah, the guy super kicked and eliminated from the Anarchy Championship Battle Royal.
Well, you know, we'd love to see some maybe post, fallout from whatever is in DBW, but we're going to wait till that time comes. Obviously, we will see with what's next in DBW, but we'll be excited to see until then why you should follow YBW. Thank you very much. And Mr. Pearson would like to say, 2026 is the year me and you step foot in that ring at some point, at some time, whether it's DBW or anywhere else. I mean, I would love to see you and Robert Pearson. I think, get DBW. We're waiting to see the future of DBW. I think we're all excited to see eventually when that footage will air. And I would hope that Robert
Mm.
Pearson and yourself might be two names we'll see. I have no idea.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's time for the new generation of DBW to step up, and we're both part of it. And let's see who wants it
Yes.
more. I'm down
That's a
for
great
it.
point. You know what? And we love DBW on here. We had Chase Wakefield on here yesterday, and he
Yeah, I
basically
offered to
said,
be
"Hey,
his editor practically.
you know what? I couldn't tell you what's going to happen there, but we'll find out. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate you. And also, a few people want to know, why is your Christmas tree still up?
Don't ask me. It's not my call.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, it's
Mm,
funny you said this because I
the
was in a
cats
car.
love it. The cats love it,
But
though,
yes, they
especially for
do. But
hiding
I tell
things.
you what, I was in a car with a couple of my friends. It was this past Monday, and some people, it depends where you are, still have Christmas lights up. They don't take it down until, I guess,
No, 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 no.
Valentine's Day. I think it's a bit much,
Okay,
but
yeah, that's ludicrous. That's
there are some
ludicrous.
people I know that legitimately keep their Christmas lights up until Valentine's, and they put the Valentine's Day lights up. Look, I think there's a certain time in place, but listen, each to its own. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Appreciate you. Follow Rick on YouTube. Give him a sub. And speaking
So,
of people that are here, and the former BYCW World Champion, Hardcore Champion, and 24/7 Champion, I think I know who this is. I'm pretty sure it's a guy that was here last Friday, and he's got a
indeed.
few things to say to you. And thank you very much. And you have another question about the Christmas tree.
Out of
Basically, that
pocket
was
question.
Dalton's. That was Dalton's thing, and the match was crazy. Yes, it absolutely was. And Johnny Velocity has some questions, and he's going to
All
give them
right.
to you. They're good ones. I have a question for you, Mr. Blaze. With you retiring this year and myself, what are the chances we actually meet in the ring before July? I mean, you were the first person to ever reach out to us in DKW, but we've never actually met. You guys also were a part of
Yes.
ROVW. So, what do you say to that?
So this isn't going to be the segue into the one conversation.
Right.
ROEW is on my list, and hopefully, weather and a couple of other factors just line up perfectly. Last year, I was supposed to come back to ROEW, and I think I went on record saying that I was going to take the Prestige Championship, have a little
Yep.
runs, etc., etc. Um, Perhaps maybe March, maybe April, I don't know. But whenever I do come back to ROEW, there is one thing I really want to do, and it's something I feel I should have done not last year, but the year before. I want the ROEW World Heavyweight Championship.
Mm.
That's a
Mm.
story that I need to finish. So, Cash Carter, keep your eyes peeled.
And you have
But as
history
for
with him.
Johnny Velocity, and this is the kicker, and I'm not talking about a quick strike kick either.
Ah.
As I said, I was supposed to take the ROEW Prestige Championship, so you never know what could happen. Maybe the Trailblazing Traveler trailblazes to the top of ROEW as the ROEW Undisputed Champion. But either way, I'm planning on taking some ROEW Championship gold in 2026. But either way, Johnny Velocity versus Aaron Blaze. It's doable, it's possible, and let's make it happen.
And you know what? You guys are intertwined with Cash Carter. We know the history that both men you have. Obviously, your last match was with Cash Carter. So obviously understandable that you
Right.
could want that ROEW World Championship, which Cash Carter has. And we know Johnny Velocity in his career, he's got the ROEW Prestige Championship. And we know his matches, some of his best work is with the likes of a Cash Carter. And
Absolutely.
obviously we know also you sort of have had a segment with the guy CJ Black, who also has had some great work with Johnny Velocity. So, I mean, to me, we know Mr. Velocity's got a few more months left in his in-ring career in the underground circuit. We know, obviously, your story coming up here in Backyard Wrestling. And I think with ROEW right around the corner, I know it doesn't feel like it right now. I mean, there is that possibility that maybe not only you and Mr. Carter could meet, but also you and Mr. Velocity, and maybe you as the ROEW World Champion and Mr. Velocity as the Prestige Champion, and who knows, maybe unify those titles. I mean, just saying, who knows?
Once again, but I'm going to be not the first, but the second outsider. Technically third, considering Johnny Velocity was kind of an outsider a little bit. But let me put it this way, I'm going to be the first backyard wrestler to take an ROEW championship this year.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw, there's obviously JX. You want to throw him in there. You could throw JX in there,
Yeah.
as a champion. You could, but it's a good point. Very fair points. And also another man that's his in ring career is coming to an end very soon. Dalton Skull.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about that, and I mean, obviously, he would have liked another match. He had an open challenge that took place this past week on BYCW TV, but he's got 2 matches left, and one of those matches he wants, we know, is with Austin Edwards in the other segment, but unfortunately, he would have liked one more round with you.
Yeah, I'm guessing his last match might be against Okami. I could see that happening, and it's going to be a good one. Passing a good passing of the torch. Yeah, BYCW is one of the first places that I went to out of state, and I won the BYCW World Championship in my debut. I've done almost everything there for being an outsider and being so far away, but I look at the landscape because I try to tune into as much as what everyone's doing as much as I can.
Right.
And one thing I've never done, not even just in BYCW, but throughout my entire career, is I've never won an Intercontinental Championship. I mean,
Mm.
if you look at, and again, maybe this is me playing Caesar, maybe this is just me talking shit, but if you look at my Instagram of all the things I've done, United States, Heritage, et cetera, I've never won an Intercontinental Championship. And I feel like that's something I would like to do this year. And there's very few places around the world that have an Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a chance Aaron Blaze comes back in BYCW and does that. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I would definitely like to work with the new generation of BYCW. It's about giving back and paving the way forward, as Dalton has done for me. And no matter where him and I've stood, I've always made it public that I appreciate him for that. So you never know what could happen in my final year. It would be great to
Hey,
actually
listen,
compete in
you know what?
BYC.
You just don't know, and we know ATK and Dalton had a hell of a match, a few hell of a matches that we had talked about with Dalton when he was here, and the Tennessee Death Match, and I mean, so just the
Yeah, that was
future is
brutal.
definitely that was brutal. We talked about it,
Brutal as
and
fuck.
Dalton and ATK had to stand from it, and ATK had to travel back from it, most importantly. But if you're out there, hit the sub button for BYCW. We'll see at some point here in the next month, the Southern Vikings will be making their debut here. To very, very, very excited about that here on Sportswire Radio. So you'll see them. We'll get to some more comments in the meantime. So
It was
we'll,
good.
yeah, very good, very excited about the Southern Vikings. But I'm very excited also to follow YBW on Instagram. So please join me in following them. Also, we'll put the YouTube link back up. And speaking of other people that have a championship that maybe you'd like to go to, and last I checked, you haven't been there yet, and that's the VTW YouTube champion, Chase Wakefield, the leader of the free world. And you and him have history, and I would love to maybe see you try to usurp that championship that he now has.
Yeah. So quick story. So as you know, when I announced the injury, I went down the list of a bunch of things I was supposed to do, and I was supposed to take part in that YouTube championship battle
Yes.
royal.
Mm-hmm.
And be, a big thing. So not that I see VTW gold or silver in my future as a backyard wrestler. Let's get real, but again, you never know what could happen, and me and Wakefield are overdue for round two. So whether that's
Yep, we talked a lot about that last
VTW
year.
title, whether that's a VTW branded championship or a YBW branded championship, or just another, barn burner of a match in DBW where we got such a pop, and that's not
Yes.
like gloating or anything, but like that was one of the biggest pops I ever got for just being new. And I genuinely wasn't expecting that. And it was a great moment that I shared with, as we call him, Burf, or the Burfinator.
Yeah, I
So
saw that. I mean, I knew that, but I saw that play out in Friday's stream with him and some of the guys in the DBW VTW realm. I did see that.
Burf, now everyone loves
Yeah. But
awesome.
we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, we'll see, and we certainly hope as the Wakefield's feeling better. And we were supposed to see him in NLW against Jacob Cassidy, but that certainly didn't
Ooh,
work out. But it didn't. Well, listen, he was sick, and I don't know if the weather would have cooperated. But listen,
that's
BTW
true. That's true.
is a place that we'll have to see what happens. And Xavier Thorne would like to say congratulations from one world champ to another. And yep, J.K. Holloway versus Blaze. Thank you very much. We appreciate you for tuning in. We appreciate that. Let's get to some more comments. We'll move on. And yes, we'll let you know. We'll definitely keep you in mind. We'll have to see. And thank you, Anastasia Rossini is a big fan of yours. No, just kidding. You have a fan, really. Chase your dream. Don't give up, hold on to it until it's tight, and chase your dream and don't give up. I think that's some great advice, and I would completely agree with that. I think that your
Yeah.
advice is well taken, and I've heard that from many of the rockstars that come on here. And before you retire, Blaze, you will fade. And Holloway's, just know that yes, we will certainly keep that in mind. We appreciate that. We'll move on, and hopefully we'll have to go to the toilet bowl on a previous stream here before, like an individual. But also, and Mr. Velocity makes a great point. He pinned Cash Carter for that championship, and you obviously were on the other end. So that's a point that he would like to bring up should you guys meet up.
Yeah. And then I will pin him and take the Prestige Championship. So it's kind of funny how things work.
Well, we'll have to find out, and he looks forward to the opportunity. And Johnny will be on
As
here
do I.
this coming Saturday night with the EWA. Another place, the EWA, that could happen in the EWA. By the way, the EWA is a place that you're not that far from, and I think the door is very open for you to show up in the EWA.
Oh, the door is open, and it's been a matter of schedules and Okay, so this is the we're doing the one cardinal sin that I hate doing, and that's breaking a bit of kayfabe.
Well, we won't do
When
that. Then we'll move on. Now
Yeah,
go to the
but
next
but
comment.
when I personally
Well,
travel, I don't like
yeah,
doing things for just a day. Like I
I
normally
got you.
do
I got you. Well,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
I
sometimes
understand because you want
Monday,
to tape multiple
and they're
things. I
just
get
on
it.
Sundays, and it's just like we gotta figure something out, brother.
That's it. We'll figure it out. But thank you, Mr. Holloway. We appreciate Mr. Holloway for being here. We love seeing Mr. Holloway on in the chat. We appreciate his time, and I think we definitely want to see you in Wakefield run it back. And and you and him also have something else in common because you had some history here on the stream before Christmas with this guy Maxwell Reeves, and he wrestled Maxwell Reeves, but he lost to Maxwell Reeves, and you have had quite a back and forth with him here on this chat, and there's some history there. So maybe you want to get the upper hand on Maxwell Reeves first before you and Mr. Wakefield run it back. I don't know.
If you wanna come get it, you know where I'll be, and it will be a sight to see, or
And that was
whatever his
Mr.
gimmick is
Reeves
now.
singing. Yeah, Maxwell was singing on his last appearance, and I spoke to Maxwell not long ago. He very well may be back on soon. Yes, we need to see that. We're gonna certainly, I'm sure, get to more of that. Please follow BYCW on YouTube, and
Yes.
there we go. I do want to give you something first because I know we want to talk about the big elephant in the room, so I do want to get to that. But let me give you something once again because it's that time. We always got to do it because for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio in prime time on the brightest lights, it is Aaron Blaze Day. So, ta-da! There you go. So we'll give you another one of these. And I loved when Johnny was on yesterday. I saw all of the on the wall. So we give you one. We'll take care of this off the air. So congratulations, because I wasn't giving it to Winter Storm Fern, so I was giving it to you because it's Winter Storm Fern Day. But we'll move on here. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Plus, my lovely friend Maria being here, and I hope she's still awake. But let's talk about the last thing you really want to get to before some final words circling back to tomorrow night in YBW in the future with Dominic is that you had announced earlier this month that this is your last year as an active backyard wrestler. So I give you the opportunity, especially for everybody out here watching this and talking about why this is going to be your final year as a backyard wrestler.
All right, so just preparing everyone who's watching this now or later. This is going to be long. I'm going to try and not make it an hour.
No, listen, it's your moment, man. It's your show.
So, Thursday, January 1st this year at YBW Unkillable, I made a couple of announcements. YBW was turning into an underground, I guess you could say indie-based federation, and that this year I would be retiring. Um, and I kept it very, very low key, and everything I'm doing in and out of wrestling is still a secret. There's a lot of projects I'm working on, a lot of things that I'm getting together, places to be, people to see. So I've been doing this for 8 years, and we're closing in on almost a decade. 2028 would be my 10th year in backyard wrestling. And I look back at the 8 years I've spent doing this, whether it's traveling or not, being told I couldn't do it, and then being able to do it, and all the challenges I had to overcome. And there's a lot, and not that I'm trying to trauma dump, but there's a lot in my life that I never took the time to deal with, never took the time to handle and cope with. That includes deaths, that includes family who I don't speak to. It just corresponds with a lot of stuff. And I'm now getting to the point where I'm about to be 21 next month.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And it's now, for having the career that I've had through good, bad, and indifferent, it's now starting to get to me personally. And it's just, I used to just want to take on the world and be a wrestler because it's all that I feel like I'm good at doing. And I'm now at the point where I I can't do that anymore from a spiritual standpoint. I can do it physically. I mean, I'm only 21 years old, like who the fuck retires at like 2021? Like even with the knee, and I was worried about that I wouldn't be able to go, and then I would have these matches and I could still go, and it puts the extra chip on my shoulder. And for some people who don't know what this stuff like this means, it sharpens up my fucking devil horns. Um, but no, it's been hard. And for someone that spends endless nights editing, works multiple jobs, I help out my family that I have up here. It's I don't find the same enjoyment in doing it.
Sure.
Um, part of it is just the fact that, like I'm not 12, 13 anymore. And it's not that I can't manage both that and a personal life. I think I'm doing pretty decently at it. But when you look at all the friendships that have been broken and all the shortcomings that have happened, and I like to pretend it. And this is Eamon talking right now. Like I'm
Okay,
not
no,
here.
no,
No,
listen,
this is
you
Eamon
know yourself
Janae
too.
Schilling. I'm being for real. When you look at all the things that certain people think and say about you, and all the friendships you've lost, whether it has personally or not personally been your fault, I pretend it doesn't bother me, but it does. Like I'm a human being just like anyone else here, and especially with what happened with the stuff 2 years ago that I'm not going to reiterate.
Yep.
And then, and this is not to, and I'm saying these for examples. This is not to, add more fuel to the fire. But, I hear certain things from people in IMF, and some of it stems from BTW, and then, things that happen with like UWA and all that other crap. It just,
Yeah, we had a
it's,
conversation with Kurt Adams last weekend, and we were, it was some of it, came up on here. We spoke off the air, and I know for a lot of people, and Dalton himself actually spoke about it when he was on here a couple of times. That there is that some people felt whatever and like you said, I'm not going to go into it, and that's just the reality of it.
yeah, sorry, I feel like a lot of things have been lost in translation for all of us. And let me put it this way. I truly believe that some people who were like friends in regards to this should still be friends now. And I feel like a lot of people, including me, should have handled a lot of things differently for whatever time period it was. And I don't feel like everything should be a piss measuring contest. There should be some like competition. Like you should treat this like with some degree of respect and for the love of the sport and respect of it, but I feel like it's gotten to a point for me personally. I feel like it's brought out the worst in me, and I don't want, and not that it really matters because I'm probably never going to see a handful of these people either ever or ever again in this lifetime. I don't want it to be portrayed like this is who I am and this is how I act when I'm around people. Like
Yeah,
I
people
don't.
change. Look, you like you listen. You said you were 12. You what were you 12 when you started backyard wrestling? You're going to be
Yeah,
21, right? So when you're 21, let's say 8 years from now, you're going to be 29, right? You're not going to be the same person. People evolve, people change, and that's just part of life. I mean, we learn from the past, and the only thing you can do is go forward in the best way for you that's possible.
absolutely. And I think a long time why I chose to keep wrestling when I easily could have said I could have just gone to school and fuck all this because I could have done a lot of different things. Because apparently everyone in my family just thinks I'm so intelligent just because I know how to work technology and they don't. I assure you, I'm street smart, not book smart. And you
Hey,
can
you know what?
deviate that to whatever racial joke you
Oh, I
want.
know what that is. Trust me, I know what it is.
Well, I can't top Anthony Steele saying what he said last night, and then all of a sudden I come on. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. But
Well,
but that's the thing. I don't like how people I grew up watching now have this negative what's the word I'm looking for? This negative image of me
I
because they
think.
heard something
Listen,
from someone
I
else.
look. I think that there's no question that the backyard circuit these last, 3 or 4 years that a lot of people came onto the scene. It's not the same scene. I think that some people,
No.
I think, wound up becoming or are in the process of becoming, let's say, professional wrestlers. Some
Mm,
people went and became more underground, independent. Some people stayed in the backyard, and others, I mean, the record, or you can see it for itself and what happened. So the platform where we saw all these wrestlers come on here over these last, like I said, 3 or 4 years is not the same thing. But if you go back and look at the GBYWN, well, it didn't have the same things that we had here, which
oh
which
God,
was
no.
a great thing. It was obviously a higher caliber talent in many respects. Not to say that there's a great talents here too, but we have
Right.
Jordan Oliver, Will Ospreay were in the GBYWN. That's just a point that stands out. But I think that there were a lot of things here that happened, and people ultimately, the record speaks for itself, and where we are today, and that's just, you can't change the past.
Absolutely. And the thing about me is like I love like wrestling and I love doing it in any aspect. And I know like people will say, well, oh, he only cares about going to all these companies and he only cares about winning all these belts and blah 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 blah. Um, I've wrestled in the snow, I've wrestled in the rain, I've wrestled in blazing hot weather, and it's not fun, it's not preferable, but at the same time, I never cared if a show did or didn't have a ring. I was never opposed to wrestling on the ground because I just love doing it. Now, can people look at me and articulate that? Oh, well, he is only going to show up if he gets his way in this realm and that realm and blah 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 blah. And is that a bit egotistical? I mean, yeah, but I'm, as any other good performer performer should be, and any good storyteller, I feel like I have a right to protect my character. It's kind of hard to call yourself a headline if you
Well, you're
lose
right.
90%
Everybody
of
in
the matches
wrestling,
that you're
listen,
in. You know
you
what I
got to
mean?
have an ego, not just in wrestling, but anything in order to be successful. I think that's completely a healthy thing. People want to be the best. You talked
Yeah,
about a few minutes ago about competition. There's always should be some form of competition. It doesn't necessarily mean the same as wins and losses, but there should be a competition that you want to be better, and you may see someone else, and that may motivate you to go out there and be a better performer or be a better in anything that you do. So I think that those things are very healthy and I think natural.
absolutely. And I think part of the problem is finding a common ground. And You know, like I've never gone to any single place and been like, oh hey, I'm winning every match, I'm winning every championship, and f you if you don't like. That's never been my attitude in 8 years, and it never will be. Um, but at the same time, I'm not putting over freaking Joe Schmo who's wrestled, 2 months and can't tell the difference between a headlock and a wristwatch. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you got to find a common ground. And if I really had a problem with working with a certain person or working at a certain place, then you won't see me work with a certain person and work in a certain place. It's just common sense, and it's everyone's cup of tea. Like I'm pretty sure so many people have so many critiques about, oh, his show has too many mass characters and he wrestles people that are not on his level and blah 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 blah. You
But
know,
backyard wrestling was always supposed to
but then
be have
again, it's
fun.
it's a
Yeah.
custom, but it's a
Yeah.
custom to taste, and it's what people prefer. And
And also, like,
again,
listen, backyard wrestling, it's backyard wrestling. There, that actually is supposed to be a part of backyard wrestling. That's where this is, there is
right,
some fun in it. And I think that's a natural thing. I mean, and it's your right to do what you'd like to do with that company, which is yours, and how you present it. I mean, that's just the reality of that.
that and the circumstances in which you're brought up in and where
Sure.
you have to pivot from when certain things go wrong. And I've always been known to make, chicken shit into chicken salad. So which is ironic because I had chicken and salad for dinner, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is, in many different retrospects, I am exhausted and I feel like, because I'm still gonna. So I've had different people in DBW ask me, "Am I done?" And I want to clear this up. I'll still be wrestling in DBW, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the
I
reason,
didn't see this was a full on
yeah,
stop
no, no, no,
retirement.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I still, I wouldn't put this much into wrestling to just like be done, done. You know what I mean? Like, and the reason I am choosing DBW as like a mainstay thing moving forward, it's just the atmosphere. Like it's a family. And this isn't
Yep.
me like, just talking it up because, that's Aaron Blaze's newest flavor of the month or whatever people are talking shit about. But no, like I am someone who is very introverted to an extent. And there will be times where like sitting by myself or I'm just in my own head and they're like not even a minute. There is always someone like Pearson or Cassie or Behemoth or whoever, like they will come and like check on me and like hang out and they'll bring me into whatever conversation they're having and joking around. Like I I didn't get that anywhere else. And I'm being
Well, you
serious.
went
And
to
that's
some
not
places
degrading
that
that's
listen.
not
You went,
degrading
yeah.
any other show. That's
No,
just
but you
me
went to a couple
bragging.
places that we spoke about yesterday, and so I mean, I understand
Yeah.
that. Listen, but DBW's, listen, I've done a lot with DBW, so I think I can safely say DBW is a very good company. There's a lot of guys that have also accomplished a lot of things. Guys that have been in the indies, guys that have gone on there and had long careers. So, or guys that are in the process of going on that path. So, DBW is a great company. We've done a lot of
Absolutely.
work with them for the better part of almost 3 years. So I mean, to me, I would always recommend anybody, yourself included, staying in a company like DBW because again, we've had I get them on every other week. I mean, we've had Chase was here on Friday. We had Ace Christian. I mean, that goes without saying. We had Colton Lee. I
Yeah.
mean, you're probably going to see Austin James in a few weeks. Well, I'll leave the details then. But
I love
but so
Austin.
I think, listen, to me, DBW is a company that's going to help your career also because you're with a lot of veterans and guys. It's a good locker room there. It's a locker room that they've gone out there. I see the the IMF guys in here. And DBW is a company that has people like that, and that they've been in the indies. They've gone out there and had success, and I think it's a different environment. And I think as a younger talent, still relatively speaking, in the underground circuit, that I think is a natural move for you to be in.
Absolutely. And it's especially cool when you like meet people you've like grew up watching, like Navon McDonald saying like you're the future of DBW and like giving you a hug like that and offering like asking me to be one of his like druids for like a Nova Edge. Like that was so fucking cool. And then like other people who I grew up
Aaron Jones,
idolizing
who
the
you
fact.
wrestled. I mean, Aaron
Yeah,
Jones is the guy that's wrestled the Barbarian. I mean, so like that's a big deal in itself. I mean, this is a guy, Mickey Chooch, who Chase had beat. That's a guy that's been through DBW. This is a guy that's wrestled in the Indies and has done a lot of great things. I mean, there's a list of guys in DBW that have done things that, if you take a step back, I mean, they've had a lot of success. So to be there, I mean, yeah, I would say goes without saying.
absolutely. Especially with, and I'm gonna single out Brian, not in a bad way, obviously, Mr. Judgment.
For sure.
It especially means a lot when someone like him is like, yeah, let's bring him in. And I've had so many great talks with him, and he gave me something, and I'm trying not to cry thinking about it because it
But
like
don't
it's
do
my
that
heart
on
thing.
there because I
No, no,
still,
no. But like
I
he
still got to watch the
he gave me
DBW
something.
footage.
He gave me
Okay.
something that was precious to him, and like I'm just like almost looking at him. I'm like, why the like I'm looking at it like an outsider looking at him like, why
Well, a
the
lot of the
fuck is
guys
he
have come
giving it
on
to
here,
this
and
kid?
listen, and I'm going to say it. A lot of the guys
It's
have
crazy.
said to me off the they raved about you. Van Hansen, who's come back to DBW, said you're a great guy. Obviously, we know what Chase thinks about you. Brandon Costelli always raves about you to me. We're waiting for the right spot to bring the champion on. Silas Walker, you going back and forth on here. Raves about you. Colton Lee is talked about you here on and off the. I mean, a lot of the guys that have been on here. I just named a bunch of names that have been on here recently. All praised you. So I mean, I always say when people talk about you, I always say, and I always say this off the air. Well, the DBW guys always said Aaron Blaze, great guy to work with, really easy to get along with, and I think you got to be in a place where you feel that way. And those guys have been on here, and I have a lot of respect for them for what they've done, in this sport and coming on here as many times as they have. And I think that like I said, to be in a company like DBW, that's going to be your home. And also, happy birthday to Stephen Gaynor today. It's Stephen Gaynor's birthday. But
Yeah,
I mean,
Gainer.
Silas Walker may not want to wish him a happy birthday, but nevertheless, I think that if that's going to be a permanent home where you're going to be for a while, I think listen, it's a great thing to put your egg in more or less one or two baskets. Whereas, if we look back at your career, like you said, you've certainly put your egg in many, many baskets, but maybe it's time to think about, just a couple of baskets, that you're going to put your eggs in and see what happens going forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is why this year is like the last year for me to spread my gospel to the world, all this place, that place. So like um let me put it this way. Unless Abraham Storm were to come to YBW this year, or I were to go to CSW, there's no chance that you're gonna see it in 2027. So it's stuff like that, and part of it is like I want to a certain degree work with as many people as I can. Um, Schedule wise and financially, that's going to be an issue, but
Listen,
it's
finance
never.
is a big, yeah, it's a big, it's a very big
But
thing
at the
for
same
people.
time, it's a sacrifice I don't mind making because for whatever doesn't go right, I do this because I want to leave behind some kind of legacy. Now, recent events, and I'm gonna single certain someone out right now, and I hope they're still watching. Recent events that just came out of nowhere have showcased there's different avenues in my life I didn't think were possible again on a personal level, and I'm excited to see where that leads. And but aside from that, wrestling has mainly been my life, but I am trying to get in the habit of not making it my full life
No, listen,
anymore.
and totally understandable. And listen, and I think everybody would support those things. And look, listen, it's a natural thing with the backyard circuit. The LBYW guys, CJ Junt came on here a few months back, and LBYW has, for the most part, I think pretty much ceased to exist. And we know what Johnny Velocity has talked about Dalton Skull. We know where he's going with it. I mean, there's a lot of guys right now in backyard wrestling or elsewhere that and that goes also with that thing with CJ Black. CJ came on here and, was very well, public about the fact that he really, it seems like is done. And that's where he's going to go and shift in a different angle with ROEW. So, a lot of guys, there is a point in backyard wrestling. If there's a point that either you're going to go into the underground or go pro, or you maybe phase out for other reasons. Life gets in the way, family, just other things. You change. I mean, that's the thing. Because Delta has not wrestled in a year now plus. I mean, that's another thing. It's a totally different topic. But it's a natural thing. And you mentioned
Mhm.
Mr. Judgment, and there's obviously some stuff out there that when the time comes. But I think, look, at the end of the day, people support you. I want to get to some comments before I give you some final thoughts. And let me say hello to Austin James. Austin is out there. Thank you, Austin. Very excited to see you in Austin. And the R Week W guys, yes, the guys have all praised you. CJ praised you on here when he came on to talk
I
about his
saw that.
retirement.
That really made my day. I was having a rough day that day, and
Well,
then he texted me. He said I said something nice about you, and I'm like, okay, let me look back.
yeah, he did say some things. A lot of people were like, well, "Wow!" I mean, yes, he did but he praised you. He was very, very kind. Jason Storm praised you on his last appearance here. I mean, so great stuff. Aaron Blaze, what an amazing talent! I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next, Brody. Also,
Thanks,
Ox
Ryan.
McCoy is in the house. Ox wanted to say hello. I'll come back, and Marie's here, and thank you, Marie. You're awesome. We love you seeing here. And you can only control your own actions. We can't let the actions of others take away what you personally have achieved. I agree with
Interesting.
that. Thank you, Ox. Ox is in the house. Ox returned to the ring yesterday, and we'll
Nice.
see that footage very soon. And yes, he did. And who else we got here? And yeah, I think we know who that may
So,
be. And yes, absolutely. So that's great stuff. Listen, there's no question that your future, I think, is only just getting started, and there'll be plenty of headlines. You'll trailblaze, I'm sure, in a lot of different ways that you haven't done. We still got a lot left in 2026. So in the meantime, let me give you the opportunity before tomorrow night in Monday Night Carnage. And should Dominic show up, or regardless, you have any final words for him?
so yeah, Dominic. If you actually have balls, which you don't, I am looking forward to balling up my fist and rearranging your already ugly ass face and knocking those crooked eyes straight for you. You're welcome. You don't need to go to a doctor for it. Now, after I clock you up, and if you're still standing, which trust me, you won't be, um, I have no problem giving you your rematch. And as a matter of fact, we'll do it at the biggest event of the winter, Sunday, February 22nd, Snowfall Brawl 6. Aaron Blaze versus Dominic for the YBW World Heavyweight Championship, and it will be the last time you challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Because I'm going to tear you like you're a piece of paper, you fragile, coward little bitch. I am sick to death of having to constantly jump over hoop after hoop after hoop for you to call me old, for you to cheat, for you to lie and believe that you're better than me. But the fact is, the only B that you have over me is being below me on the microphone, in the ring, actually having ring experience. You call yourself the Razor Instinct, but I'm gonna cut your celery stick looking ass in half. Trust and believe. Biggest event in the winter, the last time it happened 2 years ago, I was the last man standing. I beat you and took a championship from you. 2 years later, it's no different, bucko, because I am still gonna be the 8-time Trailblazer, the number one champion in backyard and underground wrestling. Fight me on that. And I'm going to continue this run. And here's a little spoiler for you, because I don't plan on just handing this over. I worked my ass off for it. I know I talked a big game about this, that, and the third. I'm not just gonna hand this away. I earned this thing. So let this be a public declaration that, and this might sound selfish, but I truly believe I am YBW. I am this championship. So it is my goal to leave YBW with this: the last true trailblazer. Make a note of that. I don't care who this offends. I don't care how people see it. A lot of people have looked at this championship as a joke and don't think it's a prize to fight for. They can think whatever about it they want. It can be inconsequential, like some other people that prance around with belts and think that they're hot shit. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. But regardless, I plan on leaving as the last world heavyweight champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. February 22nd, biggest winter event of YBW. Dominic, Aaron Blaze, and the last time that Dominic challenges for that YBW Heavyweight Championship. And oh, by the way, Aaron Blaze has said he is walking away with YBW's World Heavyweight Championship at the end of this year. That's it. He's going out in style.
Yep.
He's going out.
Going out
As
a
the
winner, baby. I'm
And you
going
know
out a
what?
winner.
There's no other person that's going to lay that claim because he's got that championship right now. And he fought a long time, ladies and gentlemen, to get that championship. We're talking about nearly 4.5 years, and you're going to have to take it out of his cold, dead hands if it comes to it. That's why you need to follow YBW. That's why you have to be there tomorrow night, Monday Night Carnage. YBW 2018 on YouTube, YBW Backyard on Instagram, also Aaron Blaze _Aaron Blaze _ on Instagram. Follow Aaron Blaze on TikTok, Facebook. You will not want to miss Monday Night Carnage, especially because there is nothing to do tomorrow. You are not going outside, especially if you're in most of the country.
I'm going to work, sadly.
Well, he's going to work. I'll be going to work. But nevertheless, you're out there in YouTube land. You know where you're going to be. You're going to be nice in front of your comfy home and the couch with the laptop or whatever your phone is and watch Monday Night Carnage because Dominic is ordered now to show up and confront Aaron Blaze. Boy, I'm excited about all of this. And yes, and Mr. Velocity hopes to see you. And RBW, that door is definitely open. You spoke a lot about that. We know Johnny's future there. He's the RBW Prestige Champion. I know you are a busy man. I know you have to go to work. So I'm going to give you the opportunity for some closing thoughts. I'm going to put your Instagram up here as well. And anything else you want to plug, share, or say, my friend, the floor is absolutely yours.
Yeah, early tomorrow morning, I'm going to go to work, and then after work, I'm going to put these hands to work, rearranging Dominic's face, and then breaking those uneven, crooked ass teeth. So I'm gonna have a great Monday night, Tom. I'm gonna be making money, and then I'll make even more money and get more views, being the shit out of the cockroach, and kicking the squirrel across the lawn. But regardless to whoever's watching this later, I do sincerely want to thank everyone for the past 8 years, for good, bad, or indifferent. If anyone really thinks that I'm full of shit or has anything to say, they're more than welcome to talk to me. Or hell, if you just want to squash some beef, let's squash it. You know, I'm over petty grudges. I'm over word of mouth, and maybe we can put together some business. You know, I kind of hinted at perhaps maybe Aaron Blaze does go to IMF or does all these other things, but
EWA,
you
you
know,
mentioned yesterday quite a bit. You mentioned the EWA as well.
EWA, it's possible. You never know how long something can go with just a short conversation. But God bless everyone. Stay safe, especially during times like this.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for you guys to see what's going to happen next. It's going to be big.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for saying, everybody, please be safe out there. It's a crazy world right now, very crazy times. Please be safe with the weather and other things. But yes, we want you to meet him as well. We want
Aw,
everybody
I
to meet
appreciate
Aaron
that.
Blaze. And we do want to say, listen, I want to say, you have been a good friend. We've known each other now for almost 3 years. And, I would echo a lot of the sentiments from the DBW guys. You've always been great to work with, whether it's been in other places you've been here on Sportswire. And I always got you back. I always support you. And I think a lot of people here in the chat would agree with me on that. I can't speak about the past. I can't speak about other people. I can only speak for myself, and that you've been awesome. We love having you on here. You are a guy that brings so much to the table inside the ring, outside the ring, and you're a young man. I think that's the other thing people sometimes you need to remember and forget. You are going to be only 21. And listen, you are allowed to, sometimes figure things out on your own. And I really believe the best is yet to come for you. And I'm telling you that whatever you do, you're going to do great at, and you're only just getting started. So thank you, Johnny,
Absolutely.
for the very kind words. And it is Aaron Blaze Day today because he was very successful in retaining his YBW World Heavyweight Championship at his first defense since June 2021, as he had defended it by successfully defeating Monstruck at the historic New Year's Revolution show. You can watch that on the YBW YouTube channel. Please follow YBW on Instagram as well. And Monday Night Carnage airs tomorrow night, so please be there and
Live at
join
6
the
p.m.,
conversation.
baby.
6 p.m. Eastern time. So same time, same bad channel, YBW 2018 on YouTube. My friend, go get warm, go to work. And yes, thank you, Ryan, for that. We absolutely agree. Happy Aaron Blaze Day, and we'll see you here next month.
Absolutely. Let's get ready. We are on the road to the biggest event of the winter, and the last time I have to deal with the Ice Age looking motherfucker ever again in my life. Still trailblazing, guys. Headline out on the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters.
Yeah,
God
Dave
bless.
Davison had did that on a Facebook Live. He had actually was doing that. I thought it was hilarious. Who's Dave was here last week, and it was kind of funny. But I'm glad you did it. But that is Aaron Blaze. He will be in action coming on February 22nd. We'll see him on Monday Night Carnage. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Speaking of wrestlers, I will be here at 9 o'clock Eastern Time with DB Rivera. DB Rivera is a guy you want to watch. If you're in the Pennsylvania area, Mon Valley Pro, WVWF, he's been a guy who's got a lot of charisma, like Aaron Blaze might be in 2 years. So definitely check him out, and we'll be very excited to see him on here. We'll talk about him and more tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On he said the number one global radio station that is Sportzwire Radio, where all music and all wrestling matters. God bless. Like he said, be safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow night.